This is a true story from a real haunted house. Chirps and knocks are not the only noises in this haunted house. On Friday, October 4th, 2019, while alone in her house, Sally heard the familiar sound of her front door opening and slamming closed. She was in the bathroom at the time, and since there was nobody else home, it frightened her. On January 15, 2020, Sally's car was parked in the driveway, near the front steps, when it began to honk. This was no car alarm, but rather a single honk, followed every so often by another. She took the vehicle to the dealership, and they told her there was nothing wrong with it. It never honked on its own while it was there. Once she got it home and parked again, she went inside and it began to honk. It continued to do so, every now and then, for several weeks, until Sally's husband removed the fuse. On the 10th day of October, 2020, at 8 o'clock in the morning, there was a crash in the dining room. Sally's husband was home and heard the disturbance. He searched the entire house, certain there was a prowler. On Saturday, December 12, 2020, there was knocking all afternoon and evening all around the house and weird noises from the fireplace. On Sunday, December 13th, pans in the kitchen began to clink together, for no obvious reason. On Monday, January 18, 2021, around 7 or 7:30 in the evening, Sally was sitting on the living room couch, watching television, when she began to hear music box music, coming not from a music box, but from the bare corner, next to the couch. It startled her so much that she jumped up. There was nothing around that could have made the sound. On the morning of March 4th, between 9 o'clock and 9:15, there was a popping sound coming from the kitchen. These popping sounds were something new. On March 7th, at 8:15 in the evening, Sally was sitting in the living room, reading the Bible. She had been doing laundry, and now she heard a thumping sound coming from the laundry room. As she walked into that room, the sound stopped. Thinking it was probably an uneven load, she looked inside the washing machine. When she saw that it was empty, she remembered that she had already emptied the machine. On Tuesday morning, March 16th, at 8:23. While on the phone with me, describing the previous day's poltergeist events, the dishes in the kitchen sink began to clink. On Saturday, March 20th, around 1 o'clock in the afternoon, Sally and her husband both heard a very loud crash that they described as like a falling tree inside their house. Oddly, Sally was in the kitchen at the time and thought it was coming from the back bedroom. Jim was in that bedroom and said it sounded as if it came from the kitchen. No source for the noise was ever found. On March 21st, several people, myself included, heard numerous clicks, knocks, and other strange sounds coming from the hall, kitchen, and living room. I see what she means when Sally says it is hard to describe some of the sounds. They are weird and vague. On March 22nd, at 1:54 in the afternoon, one loud click came from one of the bedrooms, followed 2 minutes later by a softer click toward the end of the hall. That same afternoon, at 5:19, she heard a chirp in the hallway, and a few minutes later, a single loud chirp in the living room. At 6:50 p.m., Sally heard a popping sound coming from the middle bedroom. While she walked down the hall toward that room to investigate, from the corner of her eye, she saw something moving in the bathroom. 2 minutes later, she heard a loud knock at the south end of the hallway. 15 minutes after 10 that night, there was a loud bang near the dining room. This was followed by a popping sound in the hall. On March 29th, a day that had many other weird sounds, there were clicks all over the house. On Sunday, April 4th, at 5:03 p.m., there was a clacking sound from the end of the hall. That was another new sound for the house. That same afternoon, at 6:10, there was a loud chirp in the kitchen. Also on April 4th, at 7:40 p.m., while her eldest son was there, they both heard a chirp come from the kitchen sink. On April 13th, at around 5 o'clock in the afternoon, the piano made noise when nobody was near it. Later that evening, there was a period of approximately 2 hours when the area between the fireplace and dining room made a commotion, including bumping, knocking, and other weird sounds. On Saturday, April 17th, at 10 in the morning, another huge bang came from somewhere. At 2 o'clock that afternoon, they heard 4 knocks, separated by intervals of about 10 minutes, but could not tell where they came from. On Tuesday, May 4th, at 2:54 p.m., while in the kitchen, Sally heard a big crash in the back of the house, but found nothing. At 4:20, she heard a sound in the hallway, but not as loud. There were many knocks, thumps, and tweets all over the house. On Saturday, May 8th, sounds of movement, like rustling, accompanied the many other noises all over the house that day.